So I'm Nate Peterson, a contributing writer with Fine Books and Collections magazine, and we're right now standing at the entrance to the Innerpeffray library, which you'll hear more about later on. But we'll just follow this path down here and end up at the library in just a minute. Into the cemetery. Here you can see the burial sites for all the people that didn't return their library books on time.
Hello, my name is Lara Haggerty and I'm the keeper of books at Scotland's first public lending library, which is the Library of Innerpeffray, in a tiny little place in Perthshire in Scotland. Now the library has been here since 1680, making it one of the oldest public lending libraries there is in the UK, and it was started by a local nobleman, a man called David Drummond. He was wealthy enough to be able to afford books, but came up with the radical idea of wanting to share them with the local people. And they did that for over 250 years. It wasn't until 1968 that we stopped lending. But today, you still can look at the books and read them here in the library. Well, one of the things I'd like to show you just now is our real treasure, and that is our borrower's register. Every single person who borrowed a book from this library from 1747 is recorded, and they gave their name, their address, of course the book they borrowed, and often their occupation as well, which gives us a fabulous insight into them. You can see in the early days they wrote a promise where they set out the book they borrowed and that they promised to return it safe and unspoiled, and they would sign it. It was then crossed off when the book was returned. We do have a couple of books that were out for quite a long time. There's one on this page that was out for 5 years before it was returned.
Here we are. Here's a view of the library with Laura, the keeper, in front. And if you want to tell us a little bit about where we are in Scotland.
Sure. Well, Innerpeffray is a tiny little place. It's more of a scattered village than a settlement. It's close by the River Erne and almost equidistant between Gleneagles and Crieff. And Perthshire is right slap bang in the middle of Scotland, and it's a very beautiful, fertile part of Scotland. So I think when the Drummonds were given this as a reward in the early part of the 10th century, they really got the choice bit of Scotland, because it's very fruitful land that you can grow and raise livestock on, no problem at all.
Okay, so why is the library located here in the middle of nowhere in Perthshire?
Well, the library today seems like it was the middle of nowhere, but people used to pass by this site all the time because it was a crossing place of the river. A ford that dates back at least as far as Roman times, because that's been excavated here, and it was so popular with local people that they even put on a rope ferry in the 19th century when the river got too deep to ford.
And this is the river?
This is the River Erne,
okay.
The main river through this part of Perthshire. Good salmon fishing.
Okay. Still used today for that.
Still used today. Of course, we have bridges today, though.
A little bit easier to cross.
Well, I'm Bill Gray, a volunteer guide at Innerpeffray Library, and one of my favourite books, in fact, if not the favourite book, is a collection of books of the Scots Magazine. The Scots Magazine first came into print in Scotland in 1739 and is still in print, which makes it the oldest magazine in the world.
And the volume you have in your hands there?
The volume I have in my hand here is the collection of 12 editions for the year 1776, and in it, in August 1776, is recorded the American Declaration of Independence. So people in Scotland were reading that declaration in August 1776, 1 month after it was read in America. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
My name is Christine Perry, and I'm a volunteer here at the library, and I love it. And one of my favourite books is this little one, which I could have done with since I was on holiday, but I'm not allowed to take it out, obviously, because it's dating back more or less. We're not 100% sure, because it has been rebound. 1591, 1600, something like that. We're not 100% sure. It's a dictionary of more like words which you can use when you buy and sell. And it's in 6 languages. That's why it's so good.
So where are we now?
This is Innerpeffray Chapel, which was the private place of worship and burial of the Drummond family, who are the major landowners in this part of Scotland and the founders of the library.
And this is where the library began?
This is indeed. So if you'd like to come inside. Now, it is empty today, but it would have been very grandly decorated. And the library is up these stairs. Bit of an adventure.
Difficult to film and to ascend the stairs at the same time. Okay, we made it up to the top here.
So a very compact little room, but it does have a fireplace.
Oh yeah?
And this is where the books were kept, right up to the, well, for about 60 years before they were moved to the present library building.
Oh wow. And Laura, if you'd film me for a second,
Yeah, sure.
just to give you an idea of the space here. So I'm 6'3" and I'm running right up against the ceiling.